If you find yourself stressed these days by the possibility of World War III, then have I got the Halloween comedy for you. But you've probably never heard of this movie, and that's because despite being one of the funniest kids' movies I've ever seen, and I did rewatch it this week just to prove that to myself, it's just not popular because it's a send up of a rather niche part of movie history. 1950s and 60s radiation monster movies. For those of you who don't know, Godzilla wasn't the only one. There were many movies about irradiated animals and people and monsters that got giant and terrorized humanity. And this comedy, Matinee, is about a little boy who is a fan of these monster movies who meets his idol, one of the producers of these monster movies, during the Cuban Missile Crisis. So Dante, who again directed Gremlins, delivers to us one of the funniest send-ups of the horror genre I've ever seen, while also being an unabashed love letter to the movie-going experience. It is simultaneously a love letter to old school 3D movies while also being somehow a love letter to Cold War nuclear panic. Because again, the plot of this movie revolves around this kid, your protagonist, and his friend and his little brother being horror film fans and flirting with girls in the 1960s, living on a military base in the Florida Keys during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And I want to be clear here, this movie isn't just like niche dark humor. 1993's Matinee is one of the funniest and most quotable kids movies I've ever seen. My guess is a movie at the time being that nostalgic and poking fun at such a very specific moment in film history just didn't land with a big enough audience. But I've always been surprised that this movie hasn't become a comedy cult classic. I mean, John Goodman is asking us the funniest question possible after all. Are we more afraid of a nuclear blast or the effects of radiation? So this Halloween, don't forget, radioactive bugs are monster movies too.